Well, now we've got Casey Stengel here, and of course today Casey's being honored. He's been honored just about all week. The mayor gave you a day. It was Casey Stengel Day yesterday at City Hall, Casey.
Yes, sir. I thought that was great to come into this city. I never thought in playing with Brooklyn, playing with, you might say, over in Queens, and then playing here with the Yankees and also with the Giants. I never thought I'd ever get to control the city, and he allowed me to control the city up to 12 o'clock tonight. And I'm watching these big prospects that came here that are so amazing that I wouldn't have been here without they were there with their terrific records. You could stand and talk about each one for 1 hour and a half and then you wouldn't cover what each one had did for this here ball club when I was a manager. That keeps me here now. I hope they get in after 12 o'clock because I don't want to fine any of them tonight because tomorrow the mayor will be running the city again.
Oh, you might not be, Casey, if you do a good job, but I think you were a little surprised today when they retired your number. I know I was.
Well, that's the funny thing. I'll tell you the truth now. I didn't realize here that men now, at this here time, that I haven't got a uniform for 10 years. And the Mets retired one uniform, and this year they dressed me up beautiful here. They covered up my breast that was growing, and not only that, I noticed that I was very active, and I feel better around the stomach with a very small enlargement. And now I'm going to take that 37 and I have it after 10 years. I'm going to take it and I'll keep it in my hand, and I hope they bury me in it. That's how much I think that it was wonderful of them to do it. I never realized when I go out and see out there 3 or 4 names and the monuments and what they were and how big those men were, that they would do that. I never had a time to think of that when I was out on the mound, you might say, a while ago. But to think now that they've done that is really something terrific. But as I say, if it wasn't for the public that come in here, and if it wasn't that the players had been so amazing, each one of them, just think, when I looked at 5 outfielders out there, they were all terrific. Just think of some of the men that I had that were on the infield. The infielder were terrific. Just think the best part that I had that helped me was when a war come in, I had some men that were terrific. I remember the club finished just a close short, a good manager, Bucky Harris, a terrific manager, that I come in, and when I took the club, and I saw that when you played shortstop and all, I thought you played 5 years and you had a terrific asset nobody ever knew was so great. And the one was if they got you in a trap play. I thought you was an amazing man. When you got in there, it looked like they had you, then they didn't have you, then they throw to the right, then they throw to the left, and they said, oh, there he comes, there he goes, and you'd go wing, 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 them little steps, you know, and then you'd be safe. Now, other men couldn't do it. And the only time I ever saw Dickie laugh for 3 years as a coach was when you'd get in a trap play, and you'd get out of it, he'd go, yep! And he says, well, McCarty used to give me the devil. I never could catch any of those fellas. So that was one asset I know you had. And I thought, too, another thing that I thought you did great before you went into this business of being a broadcaster, you could pull a ball better than anybody I ever saw when I come into the big league. You could gun better. The greatest play was ever made for the Yankees, in my personal opinion, was you at the plate and DiMaggio at the third. DiMaggio showed me 4 or 5 reasons how you should run third base if you were a base runner. The greatest pitcher would say Lemon was pitching, and you were up at the plate, and you executed a quick bunt play down the first baseline in which the man come in and threw the ball over the fence. He should have been suspended, but it cost him the pennant. That game there was the most perfect bunt I ever saw, with the man careful, the man just running just properly at the right time, and you at the plate to execute the play. I thought you bunted the ball high inside better than anybody. That was the most terrific play I saw for intelligence, ability, and skill for the runner, and skill for yourself, in which you didn't let the pitcher, if he's wind up or without a wind up, know what you're going to do in the infield either at the time. It's perfection.
Casey, I certainly appreciate the nice things you said, but I want to talk about you. Now, you are celebrating your 80th birthday, right?
That's true, yes.
And I've never seen you look better. And all through the years that I played under you as manager, you would be the last one to bed. You would have a talk with anybody who would listen, always very interesting, and you'd be the first one up and you're 80 years old and you got more pep than anybody. Is there any kind of a secret that maybe we can follow?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't say you ought to follow that new infield and outfield they have now. What do they call that? What is that infield and outfield they have now where they put
the
this?
AstroTurf.
Yes, the AstroTurf. Oh, I can't gain AstroTurf because if I was a third baseman or first baseman, these big oxes that are playing now, that you just carry for hitting, they're going to have too much trouble. And in the outfield and the infield on a bunt play, if you went up and bunted down on the ball, I mean, they were efficient, and you'd bunt down on the ball, how can the pitcher throw you out if it's a high bouncer? He's got to wait for it and catch it and throw. I really think that it'll make it harder to play third and first if they do hit down on the ball because you can't get a quick play. And I also think that that's more of a fake business now than I think. I think the pitching is better. I think everybody's got a chance to hit better because of that turf, because Zachary told me he was a terrific hitter. Always line up and hit down on the ball, and if you hit down on this ball now and hit it as hard as you can, some of these shortstops and the pitcher aren't going to catch it, and I think the pitcher's going to have to wear a catcher's mask because you're going to lose 2 or 3 of these boys.
Well, I tell you, then you're for the old-fashioned grass and outdoor baseball, right?
That's right. I used to remember in the outfield, they didn't know how when we did the last 5 or 6 years, this club was perfection on getting the ball and cutting it off. I never saw how our club could stop a rally. When you'd throw that ball out in the outfield and you'd catch it on the infield and you'd charge a little towards second instead of standing still, deceived the coaches at third and first and the base runner, it made you charge the ball. You'd make a quick play like that, and when you made that quick play, you cut off this much that you catch the man, the base runner. And they didn't know that was going to happen. And a smart outfielder that threw in front of you was the best thing in the world because you could charge it and handle the ball terrific. And that's why we cut it off, and therefore we got a chance for a double play, and we only had 1 run an inning instead of 5 or 6 to face. Like today, these boys kind of insulted me sitting here.
Wow.
I allowed them to get ahead of me in this here game here, and I was a little careless on this bench after 5 minutes. But to tell you the truth about that, what we ought to do, I don't want to say this, but Campanella was the best catcher, you know, in the league. And I was wondering why they didn't put Campy in there to see if I couldn't sneak a run or 2. But I see Martin's the same. He run into man. I thought he was going to kiss the catcher. He's just so nice, you know. I said, well, does he like him that well? And if he did, he should steal the ball. He shouldn't just
Right, take it right out of his hand.
I think he'll have a lawsuit here because I think his lungs are going to be bad tonight. He might have bad breath of this, and I hope he gets a good job. Martin helped well this here ball club as good as anybody for being a young man. He had more egotism and grit and nerve, and he always started in, could hit a curveball when he was good, and he did better. And I thought when you kind of changed it, instead of hit too close, I thought the last of your career, a ball you could hit the shortstop going over, you could hit that side of him, you could place your ball in. I thought another one was Berra. One time, Berra, I thought, could have led the league, but he'd hit foul up there. You know, he had a couple of Italians up there to hit the ball to, and he didn't. He was in that business, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was the milk business. Yeah. He was in that business at that time, and he says, I'll get one of the boys for up there. You see it this time. And the second thing I told you, that when I told Dickie he should do that, and when I saw that you did it, you was a better hitter, and I want to tell you, Berra became a better hitter. When he went south, it took him 6 weeks to try and hit a ball to left field or to center, and then if they changed up on it, he got a home run. And one year, he broke me down trying to get off of this bench and looking down there and hearing foul ball. He spotted everybody 2 strikes. Oh, you're going to lead the league in home run. But I think that Berra was great with those terrific pitches. Reynolds, Racy, Lopez, threw this way, that way. Berra with a big sponge glove he had. And I think the greatest thing I think Berra ever had, saved him with Reynolds and all. He could catch a foul tip with that sponge he had, that glove. And it was the best thing to sit on I ever saw, but it insulted him. He didn't want that big glove. He wanted to make out of bronze, I guess it is, down his out. We had 6 catchers now over with the Mets, not switching over. And now I don't know whether he's helping those catchers or not. Now the other catchers are using his mitt, but they can't play anymore. So I guess Bear is now going to be a sensation for our club. We've got him going good. I'm glad to see Martin. I hope he gets back into baseball. You can't go down and play in a minor league for a ball club and develop a club and then come back upstairs. It's a shame they don't put him back in baseball immediately.
Well, I'm with you 100%. Casey, thank you very much. Enjoyed it very much, and we'll see you tonight.
Thank you very much. I'll have Mrs. Stengel down there tonight. She's wearing all the Yankee medals, and I wear now Hall of Fame medal like Joe DiMaggio that never made a mistake. And dropped one ball once, I think, but I don't know when it was. It wasn't under me. So now he said, I'll take any glove, but I was afraid they'd take a new one. He couldn't catch it.
Okay, Casey, thank you he never did answer my question. I asked Casey, I said, what makes you so healthy at the age of 80? And he talked about everything but that. It'll take me about 4 innings to recuperate from that, so let's go back up to the booth.
All right, Phil, thank you very much. Well, we told you a moment ago that we were shocked when Casey spoke for such a brief period of time out on Yankee Stadium infield. And we said he'd get a chance to talk tonight, perhaps with a party at Pitt Shores, but you just heard him. Unbelievable. He has got to be as clear and as lucid as he was 15 years ago. You youngsters who were just seeing Casey for the first time, that's the way he was 15 years ago and 20 years ago and 25 years ago. One of the great talkers and double talkers of all time, not only in sports but out of sports. Just ask him a question and he'll go on and on and on and on. And I didn't think Phil was going to get the microphone back from him. So the old-timers part of the program has been completed.